Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the projects here in the shop. I'm going to be working on the 240SX in this video. If you haven't been watching, which probably a lot of you haven't, I suppose, maybe some of you have, I don't really know. But anyway, this is my 91 Nissan 240SX that I put an LS in, and it is a 5.3 liter. It's the L33 block, and it has been turbocharged. Currently it is non-turbo. It was turbo, ran about something like 650 horsepower. Sorry if I look crazy, it is hot here and I'm sweating. But anyway, I made around 650, 700 horsepower, ran 9s in the quarter mile with an automatic transmission and a single turbo. And now I'm putting a T56 in it. I took the turbo off, and I'm just going to kind of try to make it a really fun street cruiser for car shows and having fun and going on driving cruises with my friends, and just basically use the car more. I found that with the automatic, I really didn't enjoy driving the car. And with the turbo, it was super hectic all the time driving it. It was super fast and fun in a way, but also super stressful and kind of really actually just not that fun overall to drive it. I was always constantly worried about something breaking, and something was always breaking, engines, transmissions, and so forth. So anyway, I just decided to make this car more fun and tame it down a bunch. So in this video, I'm working on the shifter. So we're going to hop in the car here and talk about what I've got going on. Okay. So let me flip the camera around. Okay, so here is how the transmission sits in the tunnel, and it clears everything except when you put the center console back in. It's too close to, like, this trim right here. It's too close to this, so I needed the shifter to literally be 1 inch back. So what I've done is I built this plate right here, and it's just a simple 1/8 inch steel, or 3/16 maybe, with a couple holes drilled in it, and that will bolt on right there just fine like that. And then I'll cut off the excess, and then what I'll do is, the plan I should say, is to then take this piece of round rod that I bought off Amazon for not much money at all. These are surprisingly cheap, 6 inches long, and then I'm going to weld this to that plate right here, 1 inch back from the center line of those holes, and then that's going to be my shifter rod and bracket. So that's going to solve the problem, and then I will work on figuring out how to get a shift knob on this later. I got some ideas for that already. I tried to tap it, and it is way too hard of steel for me to tap, and the diameter is just a little big. But I think the problem is, I didn't realize when I bought this is actually HSS. I don't know if you can read that, but it's HSS, so that is high strength steel. So this is really hard stuff. It's not even just mild steel like I would prefer. So I just need to figure out how to weld this to that, trim off the excess, and then start working on a shift knob thread solution here, and then we should be good to go. Okay guys, so that did not work. Alright, so I definitely made a mistake when buying this steel, because look at how much cutting that did. Almost nothing. It barely made a scratch in it. This steel is incredibly hard. I almost just want to stop and go buy just some mild steel. Okay, so update time. I went to the local farm store and picked up some regular steel, so you can see the difference between the high speed, or excuse me, the high strength steel stuff that I bought first, and just regular, this is just cold rolled weldable steel that you buy. Probably get this at Lowe's, honestly. But anyway, that's 1/2 inch, and so we're going to switch to that, and this should be much easier to work with. So let's get that cut and carry on. Okay, so we got that notched out pretty decently there. Got a nice little flat spot on it. It's not the most perfect cut in the world, as you can tell, but it's going to be plenty good for what we're trying to do. So next step is just to weld that more or less right here, which is going to be 1 inch behind where the stock rod would be. That'll get us functional, and then we'll have to start talking about threads and a shift knob. Alright guys, so here's what we got. Got her all welded up there. I'm pretty happy with that. It's going to be good enough. As you can tell, it's pretty undercut because I didn't use any filler rod at all. I just fusion welded that whole dude all the way across. And that's going to be perfectly fine for what we're doing here. This thing will never break. And that's what I'll shift on. So next question is shift knob. And what we have here is a WRX shift knob that I borrowed from my buddy Jonathan. And I'm going to use it because I like the thread pitch that these come with. It's M12 by 1.25 I think, or maybe 1.75. Whatever the case may be, it matches this bolt right here. So I think my plan is going to be to actually cut the end of this bolt off and weld it to the top of the rod. This is temporary shift knob just because the thread is correct and because Jonathan had it and he said, here, have my shift knob. So I said, thank you. And so that's going to give me something to work with right now. So next step is make a decision on this, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, success. So this is just sort of a proof of concept here, but we got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then reverse is over there. So what's next is we need to put some threads on this and put a shift knob on it. It'll sit about like that unless we want to shorten the shaft, but first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse. Actually, reverse is pretty dang good with that taller knob on there. That extra length of the knob gives me even more leverage. That ain't bad at all. So you can see where it lines up in the hole. Pretty much dead center right there. Anyway, that's it for now. Let's get some threads on it. Okay, so my plan is to cut the end of this bolt off and just weld it to the top of our rod here like this, and then I'll have threads. And then this guy will just thread on down and end up right around there somewhere. I think that's going to work out. Let's get them cut and welded. So this is how I've got it all jigged up here in my vise. Alright guys, so there we have it. This is the shifter pretty much in its final form, unless I decide to paint it or something, but I think it's just going to run like this for a little while. And here's the threaded end that I just glued on there, so that's all good to go. And I verified that she does thread on there all the way down and sits real nice, so let's go ahead and put it in the car and give it a test. Alright, so here she is in the car, pretty much in its final form. I'm not sure if the height is going to stay like this. It seems awfully tall to me, but it might be comfortable. I don't really know, but yeah, it works. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse. So anyway, got the old Subaru shift knob rocking right there, which I might just leave that for a while too, because it's leather wrapped and super comfy and looks OEM. So obviously it's a 5-speed pattern instead of a 6-speed for the transmission, so that's going to throw some people off, I guess, but not a big deal there. Alright guys, thanks for watching the shifter fabrication video on the LS240SX. Probably in the very next video we're going to be firing this sucker up and going for a test drive. I hope in the very next video we'll be doing that. So if you want to see how the T56 swap does and the Monster twin disc clutch behind the LS, just give me a sub. If you have any questions, ask down below. I always try to reply to everybody's questions down there in the comment box. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you liked it. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.